Hi, I'm Sharon Betters, and this is day 10 of the 12 Days of Christmas Hope produced by Mark Inc. Ministries. In 1774, Mary Winslow was born, and years later, she married and had 10 children. She and her 10 children traveled from Scotland to America, and her husband was to meet her later, and they were going to build a life together there. Sadly, her baby daughter died, and shortly after that, she learned that her husband had also died. These losses were incredibly huge. She's in a foreign country. She is alone, has to raise 9 children by herself. This threw her into a deep, dark depression that lasted for many months. But when Mary came out of that depression, she said that she did not resent it because during those dark times, God showed her things about her heart that she didn't know and taught her things about Jesus that she had never learned before. Shortly after the death of her son Mark, I stumbled on a book called Heaven Opened, the correspondence of Mary Winslow that was compiled by her son Octavius. Mary's treasures in the darkness were given to others through her writing. She offered incredible encouragement with hundreds, maybe thousands of notes and letters, and her son had pulled many of them together in this book. One of them particularly captured my imagination when Mary asked a newly bereaved widow, "How are you traveling heavenward? Is it well with you?" Now you might think right away, well, she's trying to tell this woman, get up and keep moving and pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, but that wasn't it at all, because Mary couched this question in a beautiful litany of the promises of God, in particular that God would be a husband to the widow. But Mary's question captured me too. How was I traveling heavenward? I wanted to go to heaven. My heart was so broken. I didn't know how I was going to experience joy on this earth again. Heaven seemed very good, and every day I would say, Jesus, this would be a good day to come. My husband Chuck said that Mark's death unbolted him from his love affair with this world. And when another bereaved mother heard those words, she said, I could hear the chains dropping. So the question, how are you traveling heavenward, is one that I think every child of God needs to answer, but it can also be a source of great comfort. I am traveling heavenward. I'm an alien. This world is not my home. I'm on my way. Just as Abraham was on his way to a place promised by God, I'm on my way home to a place where Jesus said he's preparing a place for me and that one day I will experience that. So while I'm on my way home, as I'm traveling in this alien place where I don't feel comfortable all the time because of all the messiness and the brokenness and the heartache, that question helps me to think differently about the way that we invest our blessings for eternity, the way that I deal with people with eternity in mind, people that I love, that I want to come to heaven with me. Do I always need to be right? Do I always need to have the last word? Is there something better when I invite people to taste and see that the Lord is good? And so this Christmas, as you are thinking back over the past year and you're feeling like, I just don't belong here, it's because you don't. If you know Jesus, you are on your way home. And I would ask you that question, how are you traveling heavenward? Is it well with you? And that's one of the reasons why Mark Inc. was started. Our vision is to offer help and hope, especially to hurting people. We know how desperate you can be. We know how broken life is, and we know the hope of the gospel. One of the ways that we do that is through our resources, our Help and Hope stories, our Help and Hope podcast, where people who have experienced incredibly painful places share the story of God's faithfulness. We have had so many people tell us that these stories have given them courage to walk by faith, knowing that the promises that God has kept for these broken people are theirs as well. So again, as we are only 2 days away from Christmas, I ask you that question, ask yourself that question over Christmas. How are you traveling heavenward? Is it well with you? My name is Sharon Betters, and this is the 12 Days of Christmas Hope produced by Mark Inc. Ministries.